Hello and welcome to episode 68 of the Abbasid History Podcast. My name's Talha Ahsan. I'm currently a final year PhD student at the School of Oriental and African Studies SOAS at the University of London, looking at the Hanbali community of scholars and their relationship with state authorities between the 11th and 13th century caliphate via the genre of the biographical dictionary. On this podcast, we'll look at all things pre-modern history from the vantage point of the caliphate. We started as an audio-only podcast in June 2019, and now we've moved on to YouTube. According to millionpodcast.com, we are number 49 in the best 100 academic podcasts, number 12 in the best 40 medieval history podcasts, and number 3 in Best Islamic History Podcast. We are sponsored by IHRC Bookshop. Listeners get a 15% discount with code AHP15 at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. Contact IHRC Bookshop for details. In this episode, I'll be reviewing 4 books on pre-modern history aimed at children, published by Zaman Press. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm not embarrassed to admit when I want to study topics that are new to me, I start with books aimed at children. Zaman Press have not sponsored me to feature these books, so I bought them at my own cost. The books are written by Issa Meyer, originally in French, and joyously illustrated by Roby Dalimonte, and I hope I have not mispronounced their names. The 4 books fall into 2 main categories. The Muslim Heroes for Kids, 30 Inspiring Stories from Islamic History, paired with Muslim Heroines for Kids, the most inspiring women from Islamic history. And then we have the story of Al-Andalus for Kids, Discover the Wonders of Muslim Spain, paired with the story of the Ottoman Empire for Kids, Discover the World of Great Sultans. So we're going to start with the first category. You can immediately see they're in hardback, large and colourful. Let me open up the contents page. The companions of the Prophet Muhammad have their faces secluded. Here's an example of the layout. It's a double spread with a different monotone color for the background. And you have the name large on the top of the left page. And then you have an illustration of the person. And then you have a box of basic biographical information, such as the year of birth and death, both in the common year and Hijri dates, the ethnicity and what they're known as. And then at the bottom of the page, you have a summary of their life. Then on the right hand page, you have the words of the profiled figure in this scroll shape. And then it's followed by 2 paragraphs with these headings detailing their achievements. And then a picture of the person in context. And finally, at the bottom is a did you know box. And at the back is a map and a glossary and a description of the dynasties. The Muslim heroine book, it's similar. However, there's only 22 figures profiled, and that's because they have these 8 thematic profiles, one for the Prophet's wives, one for the Prophet's daughters, one for the Prophet's caretakers, covering in detail Sumayya bint Hayat and the female companions of the Prophet Muhammad. And there are also thematic profiles for Hadith scholars, the women of Andalus, the Sultanate of women, i.e. the Ottomans, and finally a thematic profile for Mughal women. I'll show an example of these thematic layouts. Then onto the second category, the Andalusia book has 10 individual profiles and 19 thematic profiles. covering things like Spain before Islam, the Muslim conquest, and so on. And likewise, it has a map at the back and the glossary and explanation of the various dynasties. The Ottoman book has 11 individual profiles and 18 thematic profiles, including things like the Turkic people, the birth of Ottoman Sultanate, the Ottomans in North Africa, Ottoman education. And I just wanted some things that did stand out to me when looking at the Andalusia book was how Saladin wanted to ally with the Al-Mohad Sultan, Abu Yusuf Yaqub, and explains that there. And then I also learned on page 59 that the Ottomans supported the Morisco revolt, which you can learn more about in that part. The Ottoman book, there's nothing about fratricide, but that's probably appropriate when it comes to a children's book. I liked this, comes under Mehmed II's profile. It's saying here, to test the boundaries of the possible, one must attempt the impossible. And here in Selim the Grimm's profile, it says, a carpet is large enough for two Sufis, but the world is not large enough for two kings. I also learnt about Napoleon's Mamluk soldiers, Ukraine's Muslim presence, and the Ottoman women's friendship with Queen Elizabeth I. In terms of improvements for these books, what I would have done myself personally is to have like a chronology, some key dates, and a timeline, and maybe like further readings and sources at the back. If not for the children, then maybe for the parents, and some more like breakout boxes. So if you look at books published by like Osborne or Dorling and Kinsersley, you can get a sense of like how the best of these genre books look like. In terms of my final judgment, I recommend these books until something better comes along. Each book is 63 pages and costs £14.99, but I got them on a special Ramadan discount they were running. You can check out the links in the description. It's very likely they will run other season offers like that. Thank you for watching. If you want to be kept informed about our future work, do subscribe or follow us on our social media accounts if you are such inclined. And if you feel compelled to do so, then press or click the like button. I value your comments and read them all and respond if required. And goodbye.